الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Now it's time for sound test. Assalamu alaikum. Can anybody hear me speaking? Can anybody hear me speaking? Anyone hear me speaking? Let's put audio on real quick. That solve our problem. Because I really think the internet in my area is weak. Is it clear? Is it breaking up? Because I see things are still taking me too long to download, which I never had that problem before. Let's do it. Download takes so long to download stuff. That is clear, good. I think when I stop trying to open so many pages, things like this. Let me see, can I get the page we're looking for? Lesson 20, 23 or 25. Let's go. I'm still having problems. Let's go lesson 25. Let's go. All right, to re-elaborate, inshallah, what I was speaking about before on present tense verbs, what I was elaborating on before related to the present tense verbs and verbs in general, that is very important. I'm not going to draw out what I was saying before. It's just, alhamdulillah, the audio wasn't clear. And I think I already spoke many times about importance of verbs. Inshallah, another time I'll talk about or remind about the importance of verbs. For the time being, because our time is short and we are late now, about close to 30 minutes. So we're going to jump into the lesson, inshallah, without any long delay. So in the book, we finished fi'lu al-madi, past tense verb. And the past tense verb, inshallah, that we're going to take the past tense verb and we're going to pass this now. We learn about conjugating the past tense verb. There's another lesson in the book which is called fi'lu al-madi al-majhul, the in-transit verb. There's something called transit and in-transit verbs. Related to the past tense, the in-transit verb, we're not going to go over it. Or fi'lu al-majhul, just in case I'm saying it wrong in English, but it's called fi'lu al-majhul. The doer of the action is unknown. We're going to go over this later on in the future, not right now. We're going to go after we finish learning how to conjugate the past tense verb, which we learned. Now we're going to learn how to conjugate the present tense verb. Then we'll go over al-fi'lu al-mashhul, the in-transit verbs. Because if you don't know how to conjugate them, if you're struggling with conjugating past tense verbs, and if you're struggling with present tense verb, learning about fi'lu al-mashhul is going to make things more confusing. So we learn about conjugating the past and present tense verb. Then we learn about al-mashhul, inshallah. I don't know why Google is popping up in here. I can click nothing. Maybe I did by accident. I forgot my keyboard. This is a laptop. I keep on forgetting. All right, so page 25 or lesson 25. الفعل المضارع المعروف, transit verbs. I believe this is the correct term. Transit verb, or the doer of the action is known. All right, but we're going to focus on this term, present tense verb. Present tense verb. الفعل المضارع is constructed by prefixing to the root of the verb one of the letters, which is going to be alif and fatha, ta and fatha, ya and fatha, or nun and fatha. The a, for example, the a with fatha represents af'alu for the first person speaking. Ta represents, it could represent a number of things, so I don't even want to go into detail because you're going to see when we conjugate it, it could actually represent a few things. And ya represents a few things. Ya represents a few things. But nun represents for nahnu, we. So these are, generally, these letters you see are going to be prefix that's going to be in the beginning of the verb. For example, to give you atayna. All right, atayna. All right. The first radical is sakin. The letter a is used for the first person singular. For the first person singular. And let me know if everything is clear, my voice is clear, because I have, I use this actually notebook, Chrome notebook, and I have my iPad on the side just for me to read the comments and stuff. But I am seeing some lagging on my iPad. I'm looking at the screen. So if anything is breaking up, please let me know, because I really think it's this Chromebook. I just need to use my iPad, but my iPad can't share the screen on iPad with Facebook. It will allow you to share screen. So the letter alif and fatha is used for the first person singular. Nun is used for the first person dual and plural, with the exceptions of the third person feminine singular. This part right here, I'm going to skip. The next paragraph for fataha. Fataha means he opened. We use yaftahu. So the ya represents he open or he will open. Daraba, next one, which is the past tense verb, we use yadribu. He strikes. So the ya, that prefix ya, means that he strikes. And for nasara, we use yansuru. He helps or will help. And for samiya, we use yasma'u. Samiya means he heard, past tense, while yasma'u meaning he is hearing right now or future tense. From hasiba means to accredit something or to get something, we use yahsibu. He thinks. It means something else also. For the word karuma, akaruma, which I think is wrong, we use yakrumu. He becomes noble. Yes, karuma, yakrumu. Yakrumu. Or will become noble. Next page. Since al-fi'lu al-mudari represents uncompleted actions, it may indicate other al-hal conditions, the present tense, and future. So the present tense form, how it's written, the pattern, how it's written, it represents present tense and future tense, whether it indicated the present or future. For example, يَضْرِبُ زَيْدٌ وَلَدُهُ. Zayd hit the boy or a boy, his boy. Zayd hit his boy. And that means Zayd beat his son. Zaydun waladuhu gadan. I'm sorry. Yudribu Zaydun waladuhu gadan. Zayd will hit his son tomorrow. So gadan represents tomorrow, which indicates the future. We also add a prefix, seen with salfa, and beginning of the verb, not attachment to it. Salfa is not attachment, but seen is the attachment. Seen, sayaf'alu, for example, is attached to the verb, written. Salfa, it's by itself. It's not attached to the verb, but it's written before it. To give you an example, for example, sayadribu, he will strike or shall strike. Sayadribu, right? Or sawfa yadribu. This is something very important to write down. What is the difference between seen and sawfa? What is the difference between seen with sawfa? Asaliha. What is the difference between seen and sawfa related to the future tense, related to the verbs, present tense verb? What's the difference between seen with sawfa? Something very important in Arabic language. The difference between seen and sawfa. Who knows? So let's start some writing, since no one can answer. Seen means close in the future, and sawfa means far in the future. Ahsanti. Correct. Mumtaz. All right. So seen means close in the future, and sawfa is used for far in the future. Now let's look what I have starting to write in front of me. And I have gave a chart from last weekend. I had it up before, but since my computer is acting crazy, I didn't go back to post it. But we will do it later on, inshallah. We're gonna conjugate the present tense verb. Now, I have already written, for example, huwa. Huwa yaf'alu. And see, can I make all this bold? There we go. Looks better like this. All right. So huwa, I had mentioned before that you don't need to write huwa. But the ya here, the ya, all right, the ya here means huwa. All right. The ya here means huwa. Hiya. So you notice that the present tense verb, it has with it dhamma. It is ending dhamma. It's not ending in fatha. It can be fatha. It is changeable. If something makes into fatha, and we learn that later on in the future, inshallah. It could be fatha. It could be sukun. And we learn that it's mu'rab, changeable. We learn more about that in the future. When you notice that I'm writing fatha. Taf'alu. So the ta equals here. تفعل. Rather more organized. هما. يا مجنون. يا مجنون. أنت مجنون؟ All right. So in the lesson, هو يفعل. الياء, as I've written here or highlight, as is highlighted, هو يفعل. The ya in the beginning represents, the ya represents huwa. The ya represents huwa. Huma, let's add something. So make it a little bit more easy and see something. Let's add this. This makes more sense. A little bit more sense. A little more sense. Do here later. Boss, ما مشكلة. ما مشكلة. وقته now. تريد ذلك؟ Then act right. So, huwa yaf'alu, the ya here in the beginning represents huwa. Huma, this is for مذكر. Boss, اسكت. Go sit somewhere else. The huma yaf'alani, مذكر, which is masculine. This is for the dual. This is dual. All right, مثنى. Here the ya represents here that it's for huma, and the huma I added at the end lani, which at the end of it في آخر الكلمات, the ending of the word or the letters at the end of the word يفعلان represents مثنى, المثنى, right? It is dual, right? It is dual. يفعلان. يفعلان. Whom now, which is the plural, يفعلون. So the ya, this prefix ya, represents whom, represents مذكر, represents masculine. Same thing here. Hey! Listen, you come over here. You come over here. Mama, I told you, right? I'm about to give my lesson. Then get away from him. You have something like you're always attracted to him. You move close to him. So when you get further away from him, go get your headphone, your thing, and stay right here. Hey, شوف كده شوف كده شوف حزامي ما مشكلة. Huh? Okay. Write this down. Inshallah. Write the first two down while I let this boy go to sleep. Let's go. Go get your stuff now. No, I'm not talking to you. Matter of fact, let's move back. Yeah, move back. Yo. We're gonna sleep next to each other, man. Yeah, drive me crazy. Boss, because you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention, that's why. You're not getting my good stuff. Go use the bathroom, bro. And go put your pajamas on. Yeah, both of you. I'm gonna go to sleep. No. Especially you, man. Huh? I want to sleep right there. You are going to sleep right there. Because every time I sleep over here, you come here, you get sick. Yalla, go to the bathroom. All you crazy guys. If they're you're going to sleep too. No, I don't want that blanket. Boss, what's good? Your pajamas then. No, your bed. You need to go to the bathroom soon too. Definitely, you need to go to the bathroom. All right. When you're finished writing the first two down, let me know so I can explain the rest. Hey, no, no. He's not sleeping in there. Go look in your bag. اخلع من الملابس، اخلع. افتح هذا. كيس، الكيس. You next. This one, you next. اسكت. يفعلن. نون النسوة القائدة. فاقبل نون النسوة نون جمع مؤنث. نون النسوة يبنى على السكون كما في قوله تعالى. This is a star. Put a star here so I can go back. There's some of them in already. All right, Ali is finished. Okay. So we did the first two. Now we go to whom? La. Hold on. People pray there. So you're gonna what? Speak where people pray? Don't touch it, man. Let's go over here for a little while. Let's get out of my way for a little while, please. Relax. Go lay down or something. Just relax till I finish. نون النسوة يبنى على السكون وقم في قوله تعالى والوالدات يردن. Okay. هما يفعلان مذكر الياء مذكر الياء بياء بالياء وهما equals هما, right? علان, which is lamb, which is alif and nun, which really is, let me change the second one, add alif wa nun. That's right. يفعلان. Just add something. Just really looking at something now. I just want to change something. Give me a second. مذكر بالياء يفعلان الياء. I don't need to write this. Let's do something here to make it a little bit more easy on the eyes and writing. I wish I could undo that. There we go. It's better. مذكر الياء وهم ألف. My bad. Just want to add something. Edit ألف ونون مثنى يفعلان ألف النون. Let me change this. Let me edit something. Sorry. Actually, ألف النون from Lani. ألف النون. Okay, that looks better. Let's correct some things. يفعلون يا هما الياء واو والنون وها واني ون هنا ضمة put some space. That looks a little bit better. So I'll make the corrections when I'm making the corrections. I'm trying to just make it a little bit easier on the eyes. And ألف ونون ألف ونون بكسرة. ألف ونون with كسرة. مثنى يفعلان وهم يفعلون is يا. You have the whom plus ya, the whom, which equals really not plus, but let's say equal, meaning it means ya and waw and noon, as you see me written, whom yaf'alun. All right, so the ya, waw and noon. So let me write that. The ya, Wow and noon equals, maybe let me do this. Let's try this. Makes it look a little bit easier. Equals whom. That looks a little bit better. All right. So ya, waw, and noon equals whom? Yaf'alani. The ya, waw, and noon equals whom. That looks better like this. Looks less complicated. I want to write it where it looks easy and not complicated. So the ya and the waw and the noon that's attached to the verb, the ya, waw, and noon, which is attached to the verb, means whom, right? It means whom, equals whom. Yaf'aluna. Yaf'aluna. Simple. All right, yaf'alani. Let me do that with huma. So let me change it up a little bit more. Let's edit. Let's go add. Yeah. Let's go up a little bit. Yeah. And alif and noon equals huma. Equals huma, and then we get yaf'alani. All right, we get that. I think this makes it less complicated to understand. All right. Good. All these are mudhakkar. I wish I could add little notes on the side, but it doesn't let you do that on this. Good. All right, now write the first three. I think the first three are constructed in a way that's very simple. Let me read it, inshallah, before we write it. Huwa yaf'alu. So the ya, and I'm showing by adding the letter, attachment letter ya, right? It means huwa, right? The ya means huwa. Yaf'alu. Huma al-mudhakkar. The ya here, the letter ya equals huma. So the alif and noon means mudhanna, means the dual. And I wrote example, yaf'alani. So it shows you, ya, alif, and noon equals huma. Yaf'alani. Let's erase this. All right. All right. Let's do this, man. All right. It means huma. Alif, ya, alif, noon. Yaf'alani. You see the attached letter. The addition to the radical, the addition to the verb. Adding ya, alif, and noon. When we see the ya here in the beginning, yaf'alani, the ya here. After the lam, fa'ala, yaf'alu, we have yaf'alani. Adding alif, noon, qasra. All right? And qasra. Let's write qasra here. All right? It's dual. This is muthanna. You understand this? Muthanna. All right? Hum, yaf'aluna, the ya, al-ya here, right? This represents whom equals ya, waw, and noon, So ya, waw, noon equals whom. Let's change this. Let's change that. And put this in the beginning, and it'll be rock like this. All right, ya, waw, and noon fattah. يفعلون مبني. Write some side notes on the side. I found little comments. It's for the future lessons, inshallah. Let's try to add everything now. أفعال خمس مضارع إلى ألف ونون وواو وجمع ويا مقاطب مثل تنمية هذه أفعال مضارع مقصور سهرة غير قصدية وفائية نعم رفع تعرب وبثبوت ونون في آخر مثال هم يفعلان في سحاب دو مبني وهما مبني على السكون. Yes. Let me add the link. I don't want to write it here now because people are going to get confused. And I don't want people getting confused, but I know to put this for a future lesson with أفعال خمسة. Let's get my thoughts together. Maybe I should do lesson plannings before I come to the class. I'll put a link for that. It's for future lesson, advanced lessons, but we need to know this. الفعل المضارع مرفوع علامة ثبوت نون والأفعال خمس ثبوت نون فعل مضارع مرفوع علامة الثبوت نون لأنه من أفعال خمس ألف مثلا ضمير مبني في محل. That's one إعراب في شيئين. This is the إعراب. I know in the future lesson we're going to get there because someone keep on asking me. People ask, what is mabni? What is mu'rab? So let's put this down for the future lessons. فعل مضارع مرفوع وعلامة ثبوت نون لأنه من أفعال خمس. People say, what is أفعال خمس? This is for you'll probably learn in al-Jurmiyya, inshallah. I just want to get some notes now. أفعال خمس. الأفعال خمس. For the future lessons, all right. So we'll take some notes for future lessons and stuff. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go over the feminine form, right? And for the feminine form, which is here, this is not complicated. I'm trying my best not to make this complicated. But if somebody could post, earlier, you could post a link to the verb chart I gave you being conjugated. If you could post that link, then we could go back and people could go and look at this format, how it's conjugated in a simple form, which we know this is not going to be the end all to our lesson on fi'l mudari. We started out a little bit late, but as I'm writing the lesson, I'm thinking maybe it's complicated for some people, but I'm trying to make this as simple as easy. All right. Well, now with here, which is feminine for she, taf'alu. So the prefix is added is the letter ta with fatha, at-ta. It means here. It means here. All right. Huma for mu'annath. Now the huma for mu'annath, for the feminine, for the dual, taf'alani. Now I'm using the ta again. See, for the mudhakkar, for the masculine, for the dual, we use ya, yaf'alani. This is how I now distinguish between the feminine with two women. Two women. Yaf'alani, two men, or a man and a woman. But two women, we use taf'alani. Right? Huma, taf'alani. For example, in the past tense verb, fa'alata. Now this ta here is in the beginning of the conjugation. Taf'alani. All right? Huma, I just wrote it, is mu'annath, is feminine, and I'm adding, let's edit this, alif and nun. That's it. Right? All right, I'm adding Alif and Nun with four, right? Alif and Nun. And it's Muthanna. It is dual for the Mu'annath feminine. Taf'alani. Bas. Taf'alani. Right? So let's add Taf'alani. Let's add the ta, the alif, the noon of kasra, with the noon of kasra equals taf lan ni. Simple, right? The ta, the alif, right? Later on we see alif. Maybe put a comma in here or something. Maybe I like that. Maybe make it look easy for the eye, right? Right? Maybe put some type of indication, you know? Maybe put some indication or something. Maybe that helps you better. I don't know. Allahu alam. But we just know these three letters. These three letters are the addition to the verb in the conjugation. All right? Very important. I hope this is simple. If it's complicated, let me know. This is the time, let me know. If it's complicated, this right here, this lesson right here, going to make you or break you. It's going to make you or break you. Inshallah, the next lesson we have, I will go over this all over again, make it a little more simpler, make it a little more easier. We didn't finish conjugating all the verbs for the present tense from each dama'ir, for each pronoun. We didn't finish, but this is a start, right? The format that is on the link that I had shared from earlier, and is also on this page from Fatwa, I think fatwaonline.com. In the download section is how to conjugate the easy form, the easy way of conjugating verb. It has the past and present tense, and it gives you the examples. You can use it as a guide, but I'm just adding a little bit more detail. That's all I'm doing. It's very simple, but I'm just adding a little bit more detail. I'm letting you know each addition of the letter. I'm letting you know what it stands for, the addition to the letter. The letters that are added to the verb, I'm letting you know what it means. No, Niswa. Let me just move this down. That's why I know this is not part of that. Just give me a second. This is a real different lesson. Just trying to get myself together. Anybody have any questions? This is the time to ask. Anybody have any questions? This is the time to ask. This is the time to ask. You still hungry? Greedy boy. Any questions? Aliyah, any questions? The harakat, just got to memorize the patterns. Just got to memorize them. That's all you got to do. You got to memorize the patterns. Just memorize them. That's the key to anything in Arabic. Memorize the patterns, the wazn, the patterns. The patterns, this is the pattern that's given to you. Just memorize it. The second radical most time is going to be sukun. Taf'alu, yaf'alu. This is sukun on the second letter. All right? The ya is the first. The fa is the second in this case. All right? Unless you're talking about the second radical, the ayn, it's going to be fatha, yaf'aluna. But for conjugating the verbs, the second radical, for example, we see an example, darraba, yudarribu, yudarribu. If you're talking about this, for example, darraba, right? The present tense, yudarribu, right? The second radical has what? Yudarribu, kasra. The only way you know, by looking it up in the dictionary. That you look it up in the dictionary how to conjugate the present tense. That's why the hand word will be very helpful for you. Because in the hand word, but it gives you the phonetics U for Dhamma, E for Kasra like this, but you need to understand about weak verbs because there's a lot of weak verbs or weak letters that the conjugation changed for the present tense. We're not there yet. All right? But in general, you're looking in a dictionary or it's given for you. Like, for example, the next page in Arabic Make Easy, after the conjugations, they give you verbs. Karraja yukarriju. The last one is called Karraja yukarriju kurujan. This is called the master. The last letter is called the master. What we might call in English the grunt. Dhahaba yudhahabu dhahaban. Right? Talaba yutallibu taliban. All right, so the present tense verb, you notice is changing. Sometimes the second radical is Dhamma, sometimes it's Fatha, sometimes it's Kasra. Right? You memorize them as you've seen in a list like this given to you. This is how you memorize it. And if you don't know, you look it up in the dictionary like this. You look it up in the dictionary if you don't know. Most Arabic to Arabic dictionary, when it comes to conjugating the verbs, they give it to you. The book that you bought, 501 verbs, like this, and 201 verbs, they would give you the second radical. Is it Dhamma? Is it Kasra? Is it Fatha? It will give it to you in these type of books, or in a dictionary like Handswear, or like an Arabic to Arabic dictionary. They're going to give it to you. For example, let me open up one of my apps, one of my dictionaries on one of my apps. I know I have a dictionary here. Use it. Here we go. All right, daraba, for example. So this is the English, Arabic to English part. I don't care about the Arabic to English part. Some dictionaries like this, except for the hand words, in the Arabic to English, it's not going to tell you the conjugation, except for the Handswear, right? But I'm looking for the Arabic to Arabic part of the dictionary. Hey, what's that sound? Get your foot away from that thing. Right, so in the Arabic to Arabic dictionary, here you go. They give you the conjugation, how to conjugate from the past to present. All right, I'm just going this. They give you like 2 or 3 types of dictionaries from Arabic to Arabic. I'm just looking for another type. That gives the conjugation of the verbs. That's all I'm doing. Here we go. All right. So here, for example, in this dictionary gives you, right? For example, this might be Lisana Arab. I don't think this is Lisana Arab. Al-Ghani. Right? Darraba yudarribu. It gave me the conjugation right there. Let me see, can I make this bigger? I doubt it. Let me try. Maybe it'll hook me up. Let's come back. Where you at, my man? What happened? Come back. Where you at? Fine, I gotta close you out, man. That's stupid thing. Forget it. My thing is acting up on me now. All right, let me try one more time. Maybe it cut me a break. Maybe I don't have to look up the word again. There we go. Okay, I wanted it big. It gave me big. Here we go. Let's use that one for example. I didn't even make it big. That's okay. Daraba. Let's see. Mohit. ضرب شيء let's go. I can't see. Well, just had this thing. What happened? What happened? Here we go. Daraba. Vidaribu. I just don't like how this thing is, man. I should have left it the other way. But here, I don't want to be here all day fooling around with this thing. Let's go away, go away. So like here in this dictionary, they give you the conjugation. And this guy having a problem with this stupid thing, man. I don't like these things. You know, I'm being frustrated, so I'm gonna just leave it for now. But I'm looking at it right here. All right, I hope it doesn't do that to me again. All right. So here it's giving me the conjugation. Daraba in the present tense, yudarribu. So the Arabic dictionary, or like the Hands word, for example, it will give you the conjugation so you can see. Sometimes the conjugation could be different. It could have two types of present tense verb conjugation. Most likely, if the second radical is different in the conjugation, they have 2 or 3 different radicals for the present tense verb. Most likely, each different conjugation might have a different meaning. Sometimes. All right, sometimes. Like I told you before, there's always an exception to the rule. But this is how you'll find out in a dictionary like this. I do this all the time. I'm writing a cookbook. I have a book in Arabic. It doesn't have all the vowels. I see a verb that's conjugated in the present tense. I don't know what is the middle radical. I just go look up in the dictionary and I see right there, and just write the mark on what I'm reading, and I put the conjugation there for me to memorize, right? But there is a pattern for memorizing the conjugation of verbs. When you memorize a lot of verbs, past, present, and the masdar, the grunt we say, we memorize a lot of them, then you start picking up the patterns. You start picking up the patterns because the average Arab, he knows. If he's educated, he knows. If you speak Arabic properly, he knows from the patterns. There are certain type of patterns. He knows. All right. So this is how you find out, Sister Aliyah, by using the dictionary, a list of words given to you also with the conjugation of the verb from past to present. This is how you know. Like in the book, dabaha, to slaughter. Yadhbahu, right? It's the present tense. The word underneath, raja'a, means he returned. Present tense, yarji'u. You just have to memorize a lot of them. That's how it is. And if you don't know it, just look at the dictionary. I hope that answers your question. I can close this bad boy out. Yes, I can. Restart. I hope this thing don't freeze on me. Here we go. All right. All right, let me save this. Let me publish this. So I'm going to take the notes and I'm going to publish it from today's class. And then I will add, for the next lesson, I will add, inshallah, the rest of the conjugation for us to use. I will post it here now for us to use. And Sister Salihah, just notice what she's typed it in. She's saying she mentioned the dictionary that she used. All right, and these are different dictionaries. I use online dictionary. I use Lisana Arab. I really use Lisana Arab for conjugation, but for the masdar or words that are derivative, which most dictionaries in Arabic give you the derivative. For conjugation, they give you that. Most Arabic dictionary. Most Arabic to English dictionaries don't give it to you the conjugation. You know, like the Maori dictionary is an excellent dictionary, but doesn't give you the conjugation. The Hands word dictionary give you the conjugation in the form of writing the phonetics in the book. The phonetics, for example, will give you the written out the past tense verb in Arabic, and then right next to it, it will give you the middle radical in the form of a English vowel, right? We'll write the English vowel, so you will know what is the second radical. And that's when we start our lessons, inshallah, related to how to use the hands word dictionary, and you will see these type of things, inshallah. For Saleh asking the question, Sister Saleh, Kutuba, this link, it has some errors in it. You want to use the other forms of the verbs, different form, like form 2, form 3, form 5, and the conjugation, there's some errors in it. And myself, I noticed this, and I have one of my companions of mine, he has his bachelor's degree in Arabic language, and he's studying now for his bachelor's in Sharia in Saudi. He says even that website, it has mistakes in the conjugation, right? But some of the basic conjugation they give you, but from the different forms of conjugation, sometimes there's some mistakes with the site. You know, I prefer to use the books. I go to one of the dictionaries in the books, and I will use them. I won't depend on a website to conjugate all the time, because sometimes those programs online to conjugate, sometimes they have mistakes in it, and you need to know that. Especially this particular website you just post, Quturab, this website, I know that it has some mistakes in it, and other people who I know who knows Arabic, who has to study or have a degree, they mention the same thing. It does make some mistakes in conjugating some of the different forms of the verbs. It does have some mistakes in it. So I don't depend on that website only. Yeah, don't depend only on the website. Use the book. Use some of those classical books, some of the Mu'jam Litasrif or Qamus Litasrif. Get used to using them. And it's online. You see the app. You see the app I just used right now. I use that app all the time, every day. I have it on my phone. I have it right here on my Chromebook that I'm using. I use that app every day. And that app that I use, the dictionary with that app I just use, you could save the words you look up. It saves it automatically, and you can save it for a memory test. So every day, 2-3 times a day, I have my vocabulary words that come to me on my phone that I used or I saved or I looked up on that program. So, increase in vocabulary and things like that. All right. You did ask another question. The ya is for the ga'ib, and the an is for the muthanna sahih. Yes, yes. All right. The ya is for the ga'ib, right? Yes, and the an is also part of the formatting of the conjugation. That's one I don't want you to forget. It's part of the format. Does the app work with iPhones? Yeah, I have it on my iPhone, but I don't like it on iPhone. I have that app. I have the same app on my iPhone, on my iPad right here. Actually, my iPad. I hate it. I don't know why it's like garbage for iOS. I don't know why it's garbage. I use it on Google Play. It's good on Google Play. For the iPhones and stuff, I don't know why iOS is garbage. It's like a whole different dictionary. I don't know why. It's like a whole different dictionary. I don't even waste my time using that thing. I wish I could show you on my iPad. It is just garbage. It's just garbage. I don't know why it's garbage on iOS. But I just use it for Google Play. It's excellent for Google Play. The name of the app, I try to type it up later on, the name of the app, because I use it on my Al-Amani is good. I use Al-Mani, or I use it sometimes. Yes, I use it. But you gotta remember, Al-Mani, you gotta remember dictionaries in general, not that website, but dictionaries in general, especially online, sometimes they give you the technical meanings of things. Medical meaning, scientific meaning, legal meaning, and not legal meaning as in Sharia legal meaning, maybe international law meaning, it's not, but then the Al-Mani will give you also, like the app here I was using, Al-Mani will also give you the classic famous Arabic dictionaries in Arabic, what the word means. So the Al-Mani is good also for the Arabic definition. And we give you all the classical Arab dictionaries like Lisan al-Arab, Al-Muhit, right? It will give you their definition of the word too. So I do use Al-Ma'ani, but you have to know how to use it. Just like the Handswear dictionary. The Handswear dictionary is good, but there's a lot of words in the Handswear dictionary. There's some words in it, but there's some words, a few words in it. It is not. It's not. The meanings are not useful when you go to the Islamic text. If you see the word in the Islamic text, the hands word, sometimes you can't use it for that. You know, it might give you some legal meaning of the word. That's legal meaning like in some Arab country, there's not constitution or law. It's not even the Sharia, right? Or how the UN will use the word in Arabic, for example, something like that. I'm just making up an example, right? But the hands where is not useful for that, but it's useful for getting vocab, the typical vocab, the conjugation, the different forms of verbs, how the conjugation, what it means in English is good for that, excellent for that, right? It is good for some expressions. You even have a lot of expressions when they give you the verb and the hands where, and they break down the conjugation of the verb, the 10 or 5, or the 9 or 10 different forms of the verbs, what it means in English, the conjugation is excellent for that. But for Islamic terminology, it's not for that. As the mawrid for Islamic terminology is not for that. It needs to use an Arabic dictionary that's related to like Lisan al-Arab. It give you these type of terms. Or we use Qamus al-Fiqhi, for example, or Qamus fi Mustalah Hadith, for example. You know, make sure you buy this type of Qamus for fiqh, Qamus for Mustalah Hadith, things like that, right? I have Qamus for this, for the term, these type of religious terminology, right? For example. And then you have maybe online, some dictionaries online, like with Saudi's website for tafsir al-Quran. Sometimes they give you the tafsir, break it down, tafsir, ayat on Quran, word to word meaning in Arabic. Sometimes they give you simple definitions and meanings of words like this. And so I use those programs for these type of things. You know, you can use those type of websites and programs for. So that's for the person who's studying Arabic in Arabic. It's not for the person who's studying English, Arabic and English. I'm talking about somebody who's studying, who has the ability to study Arabic in Arabic language. These things, resources would be useful along with a teacher. It would be useful. It's very useful. For myself, I translate things. It's very useful. I'll be very honest. The hands where is good, but for some Islamic definitions and things, is not useful. It is not useful. All right. But for like technical meanings and definition of verbs and kind of the definition of the conjugation of verbs, the definition of the different forms of verbs, the definitions of words that are derivative from the verb, it is mumtaz. It's excellent for that. It's something that you need to study, especially if you have a lot of expressions. They do have takbir. And they give you the definitions, they give you some of the takbir. So I do use the hands when I'm translating. Like I was translating something earlier today, right? I'm in the middle of translating this book. So I was using it today, and I find some takbir and expressions in the book that enhance that in the book that I'm actually reading. So I said, okay, this is what this expression, this takbir, this is what it means. Okay, the English or equivalent English, that's excellent. I use it for that. But sometimes there's some words that have deep meaning and fiqh, deep meaning in Sharia meaning, deep meaning in the religion, then the dictionary hands won't help you with that. But the everyday word in Arabic or the correct uses of words in Arabic, it give you that. But for the Islamic meanings, you have to use some like Lisan al-Arab, for example. All right? Al-Mu'jam al-Muhit, for example. Right? Like this, these type of dictionaries, and they definitely give you the meaning, especially Lisan al-Arab. You know, in particular Lisan al-Arab. So al-Ma'ni, yes, you can make it useful for that. And even the app that I just showed you, you can make useful. Because al-Ma'ni on this website, going to the website and using it is good. Al-Ma'ni has a app. It is garbage. Al-Ma'ni has an app. It is garbage. It's garbage. You need to have the internet to use the app. It is garbage. You know, when you Al-Ma'ni, the app is no good. The actual website is excellent. All right? For the Arabic to Arabic definitions. Because even sometimes it give you the Islamic meanings of words from certain dictionaries like this. Anybody have any other questions, especially you, Ali? I know sometimes you have some questions. This is the time to ask. This lesson on verbs is either going to make you and break you in Arabic. It's going to make you strong in Arabic, and if you don't, you have a problem with it, it's going to break you. Most people have a problem with Arabic is really to tasrif, the conjugation and verbs and the different forms of verbs and conjugation. Even for Arabic speakers, they would say the same thing. But verbs are very important because a lot of words are derivative of verbs. For example, I see a word in Arabic and now I don't know what the word means, but if I can figure out the root of the word, then I could give a small conclusion of what that word might mean. If I know the different forms of the verbs, because there's different forms, we didn't learn that yet. We're going to learn it later on. It's not now. There's different forms of verbs and have different patterns. And its conjugations are different at times. But even the words that are derived from it are like new words. I mean, not new words, but there are other words have different meanings. All right? And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it's very important because vocabulary words, if a person really understands Arabic and look at Arabic grammar, you would say it's like an ocean. Just look at the different forms of verbs in Arabic, not the past and present tenses. I'm not talking about this. In Arabic, you have form 1, form 2. If you have the book, Learn the Language of the Quran, just look in the index. Look at the different forms of verbs. Each have a different meaning or usage. It takes a verb like the one we learned today. For example, I give you a new word. Kassara. Kassara. Kassara is a past tense verb. It means to break. If I add a shadda on the second radical, kassara, the meaning changes. This is the second form of the verb. It's past tense, but it's kassara, add a shadda on it. It no longer does it mean to break. It means to shatter something. For example, katala. Katala is the first form verb, like the verbs you're learning today are the first form. Right? Like darraba, first form. For example, I take the verb katala, the qaf, ta, lam, katala. And I put a shadow on it. Katala. So katala means to fight or to kill. Katala. To fight or to kill. If I put the shadow on it, katala, it means murder. It means massacre. For example. That's the second form. Then you have a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Some say 9 and 10 form of the verbs. Right, different patterns, and then you have its conjugations. You have the words that are derivative nouns and stuff that are derivatives from that particular pattern, right? So it's an ocean. That's an ocean right there. That's an ocean of vocab and words and meanings and usage, for example. Owens, you're a little bit, I don't know when you came in. On Owens. I don't know which dictionary you're talking about because we've been over some things. I don't want to repeat anything, inshallah. Then when the video finishes, you could go back to the end of the video, inshallah, look it up. When we start verse pattern, inshallah, we understand how to conjugate the first form. And then we learn a little bit more about conjugation and the weak verbs, weak letters. That is very important, the weak letters. The weak letters, right? Because when we learn how to conjugate the past and present tense, we learn a little bit about the majhul, the intransit verb, I believe what it's called. Then we learn about, inshallah, weak letters, verbs. Then we learn about verbs that are irregular. For example, they are, instead of having 3 radicals, they have 2, or it has 4. All right? For example, marra, right? Then we got to learn about, when we learn about the conjugation of verbs and the weak verbs, then we got to learn about الفعل والمفعول. Right? اسم فاعل, اسم مفعول. Right? For example, fa'ala, we have also fa'ala. And you have al-maf'ul, darraba, we have dariba, madrub. You have weak verbs, and its pattern for fa'al and maf'ul, it changes. Because there's weak letters in it. So we have to learn first about past tense, present tense verb, conjugating them, we call it fi'lu as-sahih, right? Al-hurufu sahiha, sound verbs. Then we have verbs that have weak letters. What is a weak letter in the verb? A conjugation of verb, because the weak letter verbs, or the verbs that have weak letters in them, verbs that have weak letters in them, the conjugation of the present tense changes. Either something is added or something is deleted. So that's something that's very important with conjugating verbs, especially if you want to use, for example, Sister Aliyah, the Handware's dictionary, because Handware's dictionary, when it comes to the weak verb, how do I look up the weak verbs in Handware's dictionary? I gotta know what is a weak letter related to verbs. How does it change the conjugation? Because that's how I'll look up the word in the dictionary. Look at the Handware's dictionary. When it comes to weak letters, I look up the verb according to the weak letter present tense radical of the verb. But a sound verb has no weak letters in it. I look it up by its past tense. So you might be looking up a word. You don't know it's a verb in the dictionary or a word in the dictionary. You might look it up a noun in the dictionary, and its root of it is a past tense verb, but the root for the present tense or the conjugation for the present tense is a weak letter, and I don't know that's a weak letter. I don't know what weak letters are. I won't be able to use Handware's dictionary. Because Handware's dictionary, I don't look up the word by how it's spelled. I look it up by its root, which is a past tense verb. If it's a verb that has a weak letter in it, now look up the word or the verb in the Handware's dictionary according to the present tense conjugation with the weak letter, how it alters the weak verb in the present tense. So that's why some people find Handware very hard to use it. Many people find Handware's dictionary very hard to use it. So you got to learn about conjugation of verb. What's a conjugation? What is a past tense verb? What is a weak letters? Wow, alif, ya, and wow. Or alif, wow, and ya. These are weak letters. So if the past tense verb have one of these weak letters in it in the first, second, or third radical, first or second radical, or the last radical, then the conjugation of the verb for the present tense is going to be altered a little bit. So then it's going to be deleted or added. So that's why we have to first master these lessons. And further on in the book, in Arabic Made Easy, going to teach you what are weak lessons. Fi'lu al-mu'tal. That's what it's called. Al-fi'lu al-mu'tal. Weak verbs, which have weak letters. It's very important, especially with conjugation of verbs. Very important. Very important. Even now, for a little while, I've been going over with one of my teachers, النحو الواضح. النحو الواضح to me is not hard. I don't focus too much on the examples when I'm being taught the book. I just really focus with the teacher is القواعد البحث والمثال. I focus on the examples, the qawaid, the rule, and the explanation of the rule. That's all I focus on. I don't focus too much on the exercises. I just focus on getting just that, right? With saying that, I look at the books, and when it's talk about Nahu grammar in general, but when it comes to verbs, always talking about verbs. It's even have many lessons about the weak letter, because it's very important. It can be very hard to some people, weak letter verbs. Akala yakilu. So the word akala, which means he ate, but the present tense of the verb, the alif is no longer there. Akala yakilu. We know the letter ya is part of the conjugation. It means ya represents huwa, right? Akala yakilu. Yakilu. Right? Something that happens. Yakilu. So these things are very important. I'm trying to think of some other weak verbs. Foot off of that. Then we even talk about the commandment verb, the conjugation of commandment verbs. If you look at the book, Arabic Made Easy, majority of the lessons are all related to verbs. فعل المعتل. Here we go. ولد يلد. وقف يقف. وضع يضع. So something is deleted. وصل يصل. Those are weak verbs. The conjugation, something is missing. Yes. أكل يأكل. Right? So there's a stretch. The yad is a stretch. أكل يأكل. يأكل. There's a stretch of the verb. Some verbs, it's deleted the letter altogether. ولد يألد. So فعل المعتل is something all by itself, something that is not easy. رام يرمي means to throw. رام يرمي. باقى يبكي. خاشية يغشى. You hear the alteration? The alteration is not in the vowel, but the alteration is in the actual letter. أكل يأكل. There's an alteration in the letter. Some things are added, sometimes are deleted. This is something maybe one of the most important things related to verbs is the weak letters. Even I'm looking in the book. So we even learned the commandment yet. So when we learn the present tense, then we're going to learn about the commandments of the verbs. How to conjugate the commandments of the verbs. Even you listen to me talking to my son and tell him ijlis. All right? You hear in the background arguing with my kids, right? All right? And you hear me conjugate some of the verbs with them. It's commandments. Some of the verbs I'm using are commandments. All right? So the commandments have also conjugation. The commandment of the verb or the commandment verb of the conjugation is very important because it's used. But the present tense verb has a relationship with the conjugation of the commandment verb. This is why present tense verb is also important, because you need to know the present tense verb to make the conjugation for the commandment form of the verb. Jalasa yajlisu. Ijlis anta. Ijlis. You sit. Jalasa, past tense. Yajlisu. Ijlis. Kataba yaktibu uktub. So the present tense verb is very important related to the conjugation, even for the commandment form of the verb. These things are very important. Verbs is very important in Arabic. Very important. I don't know how much to emphasize. And then we have particles, al-harf, al-huruf or harf, particles that interact with the verbs. Some particles are for past tense verbs and present tense. Some particles are only for the present tense verb, like seen was sawfa. I don't use seen and sawfa on past tense verb because it's talking about what? Future tense. And past tense talking about what? In the past. Seen was sawfa. These are particles. Harf. Then we have other particles, and nahi wa nafi. We have particles related to negation, negated in the form of commandment and the general negation. Some of them are working with past tense and present. Some of the particles in the past tense mean one way, but the same particle used for the present tense have a different meaning. That's related to verbs. You ever seen Quran? You see in the Quran, sometimes the present tense form of the verb has fatah or sukun. We call jism. Lam yashrab is jism. Ending in sukun because the word lam. This is very important. Like lama, like an, and in. Very important. All these things are related to verbs, related to sentence structures, related to Quran, related to hadith, related to Islamic articles, related to writing and speaking and comprehending what is being said. These are particles that are related to verbs. Verbs are very crucial, very important in the Arabic language. Very important. And along with that, having a massive vocabulary. Right? Massive vocabulary. Massive vocabulary. That's very important in Arabic language. And you learn about the patterns for conjugation, the patterns for verbs, the patterns for weak verbs, the patterns for vocabulary words, nouns, and adjective. You just have to be custom with the patterns. Arabic is not hard. It's just memorizing the patterns and knowing them and understanding them. And the patterns rhyme like poetry or rhyme. It rhymes. It's not hard. I'm telling you, a lot of Arabs are not educated. And this is not as an insult. A lot of Arabs are not highly educated, PhD, people walking around with PhD and stuff. Everybody in the Arab country don't hold a PhD. Everybody in the Arab country don't have a degree. But they speak Arabic, they read and write, they comprehend. It's their language, it's their default language, but it's related to patterns. Even the Arab will tell you speaking, and there's not a rhythm or a flow or a pattern in the conversation. There's rhythm. He said, you're saying something wrong. Huh? Then you're saying something wrong. Arabic have patterns. Once you memorize the patterns, then conjugation is not a problem. When you memorize the patterns, then vocabulary in the plurals are not hard. Just memorize patterns. Memorize a lot of vocabulary and memorize the patterns, and you start seeing things on your own. You start picking up your own because you're just being familiarized with patterns. Somebody purchased a book, 501 verbs conjugated, 201 verbs. Inshallah, later on we will have classes about this when we get to the weak verb section in Arabic Made Easy. When we complete these sections, inshallah. But you're going to notice there are patterns. There's a rhythmic pattern. Fa'ala, yaf'alu. Do you see the pattern? Darraba, yudarribu. Do you see the pattern? Jalasa, yajlisu. Fataha, yaftahu. There's a pattern. It rhymes. Arabic is not hard. It's a pattern. It rhymes. It is not hard. Once you have memorized the patterns, and there's easy ways to memorize a pattern. Some books that's for memorizing pattern, but let's get a massive vocabulary word. If you do both, get the book that have the patterns and have the massive vocabulary words, then the things will come to you naturally. And reading, and do a lot of reading in Arabic. This is very important. Do a lot of reading. A lot of reading is very important. I'm a person, kaslan, wallahi. I'm a person that's lazy. I'm lazy, wallahi, I'm lazy. It doesn't take much to learn Arabic. Just you have to put the time in it. Have to be reading. Must be reading. Must be making usage of the language. Must be. It's very important in Arabic language to have usage in using and reading and conjugating. Very important. So inshallah, we will begin to end. If there's no more questions, inshallah, we will conclude our class for tonight. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وشكرا وأنت واستغفر الله وتوب إليك. Patterns, rhythm, even that has a rhythm. Has a pattern, has a rhythm. Give a few seconds to see anybody have any last questions, then we're out, inshallah.